It is poisonous. Anyway. Save that. Save. Edit. Form. Canada. 0 attempts. There is no record. Save splits as do. And let's get to it. Hello and welcome to the Ball Players Hour. Form Canada speedrun. The goal is click button that lets you form Canada. ASAP. So we go Hudson Bay Company, game rules, this, apply, do. Form Canada. Speed. Up to speed 4. Ready. Steady. Cook. Love me, Mama, Great Britain. Okay. Next. Basically the same general idea. We want to be specializing in wood. Except that we're even less densely populated here. Although there is much higher rates of infrastructure. We can't do this until the colonies are finished doing their colony thing. We need, once again, to go get our nationalism. So that's our first target of this stuff. By the way, during research you learned that in Italian unification, 1,000 manned lads simply landed on the shores of Sicily and literally won the war against the second largest Italian army at the time. Called the Expedition of the Thousand. Yeah, it's fairly unique in that it's an egg-laying thing that has fur. The only other thing is the echidna, which is a bit like a hedgehog, except that it lays eggs. And it kind of has more of a, like, anteater nose, because it literally eats ants. And they live here, and also there are some echidnas on here. They do the whole curl up into a big spiky ball thing. And if you ever pick one up, it will attempt to piss all over you. If you pick up a wild one. Its defense mechanisms are pee on you and curl up into a spiky ball. Okay, other than this, what do we want? We would like to attract more people. We would like to move to protectionism. The rural folk like this. Sure, let's get the rural folk into government. And then work on changing this to protectionism. I'm gonna spend the rest of this doing what? Well, no military, and in fact we'll do the same sort of thing where we delete all our military except 1 or 2. Possibly all of them. Let's see. Well, no, we have 0 conscripts, so leaving these 2 alive while we've got 0 conscripts is fine. What about Navy? Can we eliminate Navy expense? We have no Navy expense. Better off doing this and keeping the people happy. When this gets to like 90%, we'll start building another construction works. Am I coming from to VIC3 from VIC2. I played very, very little VIC2. I didn't like the flat way the map looks. I did not particularly enjoy that compared to playing EU4, I don't really understand nations' opinions of you in VIC2. So, like, in this system, in here, it's relatively easy to tell what other nations think about you. You come in here and it says they want to eat you, or they don't care, or they are friendly, and how much they like you in terms of these other things. In VIC2, I have no real... I didn't understand how to know how people like or don't like you. I had another 500 drop frames, so 5 more seconds? 10 more seconds. I didn't like that, and I didn't like the stockpile system. So in
I've heard there are jobs here.
Cheers.
I want to be a lion tamer.
Sharif, I don't like it. In this system, it's all about matching flux rates. Current demand rate versus current supply rate. There are no stockpiles. But in VIC2, you have stockpiles as well. So you can have an excess of something and build up your stockpile, and then later have a deficit and consume that stockpile. And that makes the perfectionist optimizer in me want to sit and do the calculus math of how do I optimize paying the least amount to build up the stockpile that I need to do the thing that I want. And if I wanted to feel like I was doing homework, calculus homework, I'd go do more calculus homework. So I didn't particularly enjoy that component of the system. So I appreciate the simplification to the system of having no stockpile. You are the opposite. You like the stockpile system. Well, you're allowed to have the wrong opinion, Lucavir. You are allowed to have the wrong opinion. Enactment chance goes down, or enactment chance goes down. Okay, so we're not getting to have this. We give up on that, and we go look at something else that we might want to do. What else might we want to do? We might want to change over to militia so that I can kill off our army entirely. It's an expense that I don't need. No. If you like the system, great. Go mod it in. Get what you want. It's a game. The aim is to have fun. Outside of things like speedrunning here, where there is a set, actual, very strictly defined goal, and there'll be one way that's better than another way. But in terms of having fun with the game, if you have more fun with the stockpile system than not, totally play with the stockpile system. Absolutely. There's enough for 2 people here. We could look at if we're actually using all of the most efficient production methods. Hardwood is needed in the Empire. We don't even have any farms. You're a subsistence farmer, or you're a wood chopper, or you're a goldfield miner, and nothing else. Somehow I suspect this isn't going to have the infrastructure, but we can incorporate these into ourselves properly. Might as well. You agree that the system was very tedious, Luca-Beer? Yeah, I found the system tedious. The correct answer is just don't be autistic about it and just live with, live with the system being unoptimal. Like, don't try to do the high-level optimization of the stockpiling and minimizing your eco costs for importing and exporting and having the right balance of things, and just live with the fact that it's slightly inefficient. That's probably the better way to do it, but I have trouble playing it that way, and that is on me. Really dumb question, but you haven't looked into it. The bottom right market reports, the lower the number, the better? Those are domestic prices. So that is the price within your market. So because we are part of the British market, it's the price in Canada, it's the price in Britain, it's the price in India, and it is the price in Australia. It will be the price in every single state in all of those locations, except those that have low infrastructure. If they've got low infrastructure, then they get disconnected from the global network. And they only have access to things that are produced in their state. Pretty much. Like, we're at 12 of 2 here, so it will have some hideously tiny amount of market access. Which view is the view that shows us it? Oh no, it's just scroll down, isn't it? I'm crazy. I'm used to it being here. Ah, here we are. Market access, 20%. So this means it cannot access the market efficiently, and it has to pay above the market price to import things from the market and exports them at a lower price than the market price. It's basically an efficiency multiplier on access to the market. Now, this does mean that you can play silly games. If you are someone like China, where you don't need to trade with anyone else, you can actually do something like set up a system where you ignore infrastructure, pick a really good state, so one that probably produces coal and iron. This one, High Bay, is a good choice. And go massively over the infrastructure limit, but turn this one state into a mega city without having to pay to run the railways and etc. that would make this be able to share its goods with everything else, because you will have such high demand based on the fact that the population of all of these provinces is absurd, that you don't really need to share your goods produced in one province with the other provinces. It's a lot more micro, for sure, but it is possible. Turn down government wages. And think about what we want to get done. So we got our conscripts done, so we're going to erase these. They're an unnecessary cost. Build. Army, build, find where they are, go kill them. There we go, good extra 200 ducats. No, I'm not showing any extra dropped frames, Salar. At least I'm not seeing any. It's at the same 1,000. The percent's only going down as time goes on, because more time has passed. The worst lagging screen for me in this game is this one. This screen, when you click this button to move things around, causes massive lag. That's the one that's most noticeable to me. Okay, and then when these are done, what next? Well, what does the market want? The market wants gun, big ammo, ship, food, glass, iron. Furniture isn't very good. I mean, we could go produce more artillery. Is that because you're doing the war with China? No, you're doing the war with India. Once the war with India is done, his demand for cannon will probably go down. So moving into the cannon market doesn't sound sensible. This, however, this is quite possibly very plausible. So try and find somewhere that actually has some available people, which is basically nowhere. And maybe think about building a shipyard. Blind. What do you mean it doesn't have an accessible coastline? Look at all this coast! I guess no one must live on the coast is the answer? That just seems wrong, but whatever, we'll do it over here if here's where we have to do it. Do you have available people? You have some available people. Sure. Shipyard, go. Fake coast. It's frozen like 80% of the year. Then export during the other 20. How much of this freezes up, I guess, is the question. Maybe this all turns into one big ice skating ring. It's a lake? Two guys want to fight each other, let them kill each other, I don't care. The most important is that this bit freezes. And then it's a closed body. Anyway, we want to tell this that once it's built, it is to build military ships. Culture spread. Tech spread, but we don't have any farms, so fancier farms is kind of useless to us. We know how to chop wood and nothing else. We're a lumberjack and we're okay. We might as well look more intimidating on paper. If we had battalions raised, our power projection would be higher now. We finished sucking up to one of these guys. Not quite Britain yet, but we could do Quebec. No, we could do this guy. We could do this guy. We could do... Really? Or are we already super happy with you? No, we're not super happy. Then why can't I raise with you? There we go. Raise relation. Check that we're almost able to click this. So, Great Britain loves us. We just have to have nationalism finish. They're subsistence farms. They're not agriculturally intensive farms. They are subsistence farms that are also making us a little bit of liquor, a little bit of fabric, a little bit of wood, a little bit of furniture, a little bit of services, a little bit of clothes, and a little bit of grain. Speaking of, we should go change our service industry to... Really? We don't have any urban? We don't have any urban. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We're not a big enough city yet to deserve a service industry. Hopefully this still makes a profit by the time the war is over. It's still profitable, but it's less profitable. Now the demand is for iron and glass, and tools and coal. Who bought out whose debt? Great Britain bought out Mexico's debt. America is eating up the native Indians. And we should be able to click this in just a second. Okay, we ate Colombia. Click to absorb them all. We need more tax officers though. Definitely one more tax office. That is now the most important thing. Nothing could matter more than getting that tax office, because we aren't quite taxing effectively in the meantime. It's hurting this. What would I like next? Probably... What gets us the fancier wood cutting? Also, there's more free dip points, so we should look at sucking up to the next person that we need to suck up with. You and you. What gets us the fancier wood cutting? No, electrics. I don't care about electrics. So... what do I care about then? More cash reserves wouldn't be horrid. This, so that we can export more ships to Britain, maybe? We should also begin colonizing you. Have you figured out how the sparsely populated modifier is calculated? Whether there is enough people to fill up all the possible subsistence farming is my understanding. So at the moment there is 280 possible subsistence farm workers. 280,000 more people could be doing subsistence farming. That is empty, and so this will show as sparsely populated. Whereas if you look at somewhere like China, where they have unused arable land, but most of it is full, it does not show as sparsely populated. But I am not 100% sure. That is how I think it works. That is how I expect it works. Swap up to filing cabinets. And yes, secular administration. What will we do next? You can both hate me a little bit. We could move towards religious separation, yes. And then giving everyone the vote. People like the idea of voting, so we're all for that. In the meantime, we might as well use our spare authority until we get rid of it by passing the right to vote on speeding up the building in this state. When does our "we became bigger Canada" modifier go away? So August of 2 years. We wait patiently. Actually, we could investigate whether that's true now. So, this one is 10% full, and it gets 84. This one is slightly less than 10% full, and it gets only 40. It must be something more complex than that then. But that would be my guess. It might also have to do with how many other jobs are available. The states that we just absorbed, what things do they produce, and do they need to be told to, yes, produce hardwood? You do. This one doesn't produce anything. You need to be told to produce hardwood. And you don't produce anything. How is the market for hardwood? Wood and hardwood are both still demanded. So if there are available people... Yep, there's enough for one. One wood chopper. There's enough for two. One wood chopper. How does the fish market look? No, fish is oversupplied, so we won't build fish. There's enough for one. And that's these taken care of. This needs to finish filling up. Our tax comes back. In fact, we're taxing so well now that we could think about another manufactory. Sort by available people. Apparently everyone wants to be in Saskatchewan. Who am I to tell them that they are wrong? One sec. Cough, 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 cough. All right. Proponents of census suffrage call attention to past abuses of power by the current regime as a reason for why this reform is needed. So, chance, but popularity goes away, or chance. I don't care about my leader's popularity. Tank it, get this done. How overproduced are clipper ships? Ooh, that's gonna hurt. And actually it looks like GB has, oh no, Man of Wars is still super needed, so that's fine. One should be okay. Then it's probably time to do some glass. Only really have two. And that place is full. Yep. The little number... Oh, you can't see it. The little number here indicates number of attempts. So yes. Every attempt is the first attempt. But especially this attempt. No, that can be a... I don't really want to do that. I'd rather do here. That can be a Soyuza meme. That can remain a Soyuza meme. I am happy enough to admit when I've stuffed up. Hell, there's a command for it. Idiot. I'd like to think that I'm not too egotistical and too stuck up in that way. No American Doom Tendril, and in fact we're taking over more of Idaho. Got the authority to spare. This finishes, then we can work on the shipyard. Do we enact everyone gets the right to vote? Find out next month. Watch this tank. Oh, we failed. The roots of democracy. In a show of public support for the new census suffrage law, citizens in Oregon are volunteering to help. I don't care about pop political strength. I care about getting it done and getting it done quickly. And see if this is actually as profitable as I had hoped it would be. It might not be. Things that produce two kinds of things are a bit of a hassle, because if one isn't demanded but the other super is, it can still end up being not very profitable. The biggest example that I've run into for that is the explosives furniture work, explosive chemical works ones. So we don't have access. Yeah, we do. Here, chemical plant. Chemical plant produces fertilizer and explosive, if you want it to, or just fertilizer. Usually you want tons and tons of explosive because you need it for mining and you need it for making army, and you don't really usually care about producing more fertilizer because you can just produce more fertilizer by feeding cow. Can we see how many convoys you have? Market. Trade routes. Convoys. No, we're Canada, friendly computer. Canada, it's in the title. Australians come from Australia, so Canadians must come from Canada. It only makes sense. None of these are especially useful because we do nothing but chop wood. And now, maybe make boats. Yeah, we do make boats. Soon we'll be able to change over to making even more boats. Everyone gets a right to vote now. And so there are a whole bunch of new political parties. Also, it tanks this, which means we've got to decide what don't we tax anymore. Goodbye tax on grain. Hello, slightly more efficient tax on services. In fact, we should have changed that over already. It both costs less and would have given more money. And I guess luxury clothes. Clearly, I'm your long-lost brother. Not as far-fetched as it sounds, considering we are both residents of Radelaide. Oh. He's eating up Absaroka. Rip the poor Indians. I don't really care about the declared interests. I do care about market access, so what's going on? Probably means that once this is done, I need to go do the sewerage. We're using outhouses at the moment. We need to invent plumbing. I also have more birds available again. Let's check that all of these guys love me. Good. How many more months until it goes away? 7 weeks. It's like 2 more months. In yours, the US ate up these. Roll again or try and convince Great Britain. Try and earn a favor with Great Britain. And then use it to call him in against US, maybe. At least if you've started as Hudson. If you've started as the other ones, I don't know if you'll get promoted to Dominion before you form Canada. Oh, sorry, Canada. Oh. Very good. Who did we eat? We ate Ontario. Yes, we ate Ontario. It still isn't over infrastructure. We probably now have a bunch more extra people here. Indeed we do. We have enough for like 5 buildings. So, what would the market like? The market would like still glass, coal, and to a lesser extent furniture and clothing. This is just wasteful. Kind of want to delete these. I definitely don't want to be paying for those armies. That sounds wasteful. As for having a high GDP, do you know of any way to get the rest of Canada to join you? I mean, the easy answer is start as the big one. If you're going to start as one of the smaller ones, you are going to have to either do an import-export economy where you import the raw resource, like wood, process it, and turn it into something extremely expensive to send back to Great Britain to try and boost your eco, to you become bigger than one of the other ones and can click the button to absorb them. But if you started as the tiniest one of these, you are going to have a real hard time eating the others. Because they start out, what, like twice as big as you? Oof. Nope, I'm not seeing any drop frames. At least not on my side. No frames are failing to be sent. Still at 1,068 of them. I don't like this being negative. Technically it is allowed to be slightly negative, but I get paranoid about this number. I don't like the way that it modifies tax everywhere. It frightens me. I think I'm a bit overly scared of it, to be honest, but oftentimes all it takes is this number dropping by like 20% and suddenly you are heavily in the red instead of nicely and safely in the green. Alright, now that means we can come over here and upgrade this to be this, which would apparently lose us money. But we could then go to extensive military shipbuilding instead of making quite so many clippers. Yep, that looks like it was a good thing. What do we want then? I said we want to invent toilets. We would like to invent toilets. When does our modifier go away? So, the start of 44. Yeah, that's still my thoughts, Friendly. I think you checked that out a couple of days ago, which is how you're remembering the command even though it's not in the title. Do you know of a way to use gold other than getting a deficit? Sorry? Oh, there are events that will specifically do this, like cost you income. But otherwise, what, you want to specifically drain your gold reserve? No. I don't think there's any specific way of doing that other than running a deficit. No, it's the same, Friendly Computer. I really enjoy the make eco number go up component of this game. I do not particularly enjoy the control army component of this game because there are lots of, like, if you go check out the MP VOD, the VOD of the release day MP I was playing with Welly and Dark Young and all the other everyone else. There's about 15 of us. As one example, one of the players was Sikh, and he was trying to attack into East India. He had successfully pushed this bit, and he was trying to push into here. His army was completely along this edge, but instead of pushing one tile into here and getting the war goal and starting to get ticking war score, because the front was the
I've heard there are
this,
jobs here.
it would attack everywhere
I want to be a
else along
lion
the front,
tamer.
and he had to actually, like, just because of bad RNG and it choosing not to move towards the war goal, he had to fight his way through like a quarter of India in order to get this bit of the front to move up one tile so that he could get ticking war score. And there's lots of situations like that where if you like naval invade here and the front gets split in two, then 100% of your army will get put on this one and 0 on the other, and then you start getting pushed into the sea by capturing the other direction. That I don't like those things more than I like the simplification of it automatically doing all the micro for you. I'm more inclined to say that the correct balance point between the EU4 style system where you fully micro everything, or the CK style system where you fully micro everything, versus this system where you do no micro is more in the middle where Hoi is. I still have my issues with the Hoi 4 system, but I think it's a better, I prefer that balance point than I do this one. You just wait till you have a war friendly that has about 8 fronts, and where the war goal isn't a province directly on the border, and you'll probably get to experience some of the pain. Glassworks, then what? Probably some food works from the looks of it. So, Ontario, you have got available people. Let's produce to food works once the glassworks are done. You think the game needs Hoi 4 warfare, but you need to be able to control the front line planning. I think that would be a better balance point than it is currently. I mean, you can, Antares. You can reassign armies to fronts. Your issue is you can't tell them where to push for. So if this was the front, they might push up this way first, or they might push across this way first, or they might push down here first. And if they pushed down here first, they might then split the front into 2 parts, and 100% of the army would get assigned to one part and 0 the other, and then the enemy starts flooding in the one that got assigned to 0. Unless you manually redistribute them, which isn't always possible. If you make one mega general, then you can't split him into 2 fronts. No, the thing is, it's not. It's about making your choo-choo trains and building your sim cities, your economies. It's not primarily a war game. War is mostly a thing for getting access to extra goods. So if your nation doesn't start with, I don't know, iron, then it's going to be fairly important to you to either secure a trade partner who you are sure will never get interrupted and can produce iron and trade with you for it, or go secure some iron by military means.
I've heard there are jobs
other
here.
alternative is
I want to be a lion tamer.
And cheers, Yahweh. Like if you could say, please target this, and so the front attempts to move towards that in general. I mean, the answer there is just eliminate the planning bonus, Antares. So now that we're producing nothing but Man of Wars, we're doing pretty well. Now that we're mostly producing Man of Wars, and very few Clippers, because Clippers are massively overproduced, this is earning decent money. We could use some more wood choppers. Wood is actually slightly expensive. Could you please explain what's happening in the Indian lands? Yes, these are being colonized. So if you are a nation and you have passed either of these 2 laws, not the no colonies laws, but either of the 2 different ways that you can do colonies, then if you have an interest in a region, then you can right-click and colonize. You can colonize you go look at here. They're called decentralized powers. You may colonize decentralized power land. So, for example, this guy, he's not decentralized. He has a centralized kingdom, but lots of the other people around him are decentralized and can just be colonized. Run the risk. What do I care? Might have to ramp this up a little for a bit. I'll take the authority, please. Texas is independent. But Mexico hates them. They don't have anything else. I don't know why Mexico isn't eating them. How long till we can click this again? Like January of next year. Usually I see Mexico take it friendly, not the US. US usually just sits here, eats the Indians, lets him eat this, and then maybe eventually decides he wants California. Is there available lead in the market? There is. Is there available dyes in the market? There is. Is there any way of getting Newfoundland and Labrador from the... I mean, you could war them, get your freedom, declare war, but we don't need them to form it. You need to have a certain number of them, and Newfoundland and Labrador, which is just Newfoundland in this, are not completely necessary as long as you get the other bits. I mean, I would say it feels like a $50 game to me. The baseline that I use when judging those sorts of things is I compare it to going to the movies. Here, going to the movies costs, if you're going to a really cheap place, which is the cheap place I go to, about $10. If you're going to the more expensive place, up to about $20 for going to the movies. Am I going to get an equivalent number of hours / quality of entertainment out of the game? In this case, I would say yes. This is easily good for more than 4 hours of entertainment. Easily. At least for me. I can't speak for other people. And therefore what their value point is. Yes, yes, yes. You like being called First Nations people. We like being called Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders here. First Nations people as a fallback. We're losing our great power rank. Time to click. Next. So there's 2 more to do. We also can hope that Great Britain hurries it along. It is possible for Great Britain to click this button as well and help us eat the others. So we ate the other bit of here. We now own more of this. It has more people for us to give jobs. It also has a university and a second shipyard. You've seen $1 an hour as a metric? Yeah, it's totally, you know, what is your value metric? Like, I'm... hands up, you know, putting it all out there. I'm one of the lucky few who got the... who gets the press version. So, like... you may want to consider my position biased, because I got the game for free. And that's totally valid. If I hadn't, I would have waited for a bit, because I was a bit paranoid that after getting what I considered burnt by CK2 and... CK3 and Imperator at release, I was not willing to pre-order this. I was willing to wait, watch for other people, and see what they thought. And I think if I had have seen this to now, I would have purchased it. For $1 an hour, you should have paid $8 grand for EU. Yeah. I liked Stellaris on release. I don't particularly like Stellaris now. Curmudgeon-y old man alert, but... they changed the population system, and I couldn't be basically asked learning how the new population system worked. It made me feel stupid that I didn't understand it, and so I stopped playing. I also didn't like the when they got rid of the multiple ways of getting around, hyperlanes versus wormholes versus other things, and I don't like the way that it's almost unreasonable to try and force an engagement. So when I was last playing Stellaris, you would create a big navy, try to move into the enemy's lands, and they would just move their navy away. And you cannot really force an engagement. Also, if you go to chase, so like the system is a sphere, or a circle, and you move your navy across to then jump out the other side, it's too close. You're able to jump from too close to the inside, such that if you bring a navy in, the enemy can move out and go away before you get to them. It should be so big that that is less of a thing. Or else there should be some way of, like, shutting down enemy jumping out. I really get frustrated that... I really got frustrated that there's no real way of forcing engagements. And maybe that's totally out of touch now, but, you know, they burnt me, and I didn't like it, and I'm not going back to it. The end. Pretty much. Pretty much. Yes, when I last played Stellaris, it had the tile building system friendly. Well, I stopped playing after they changed it. Have I seen Terra Invicta? I have, and they are... I would be surprised even if you, Bane, didn't get a free press copy. Like, they threw press copies of that thing around like they were lollies. Everyone got one. Absolutely everyone got one. Okay, what do we want the food industries to do? Yeah, maybe you make it so that big ships are really slow, but they are, like, cost and power efficient in terms of military strength per upkeep or something, but yeah, it didn't feel to me like you could catch up and force an engagement, even with better engines and stuff, and that frustrated me. So yes to this, yes to sweeteners, yes to brewing alcohol. And that's great friendly. I'm absolutely not gonna tell other people they should not enjoy it. Nothing would be worse than being the curmudgeonly old person who hates everything. I'm just saying that I didn't enjoy it when they changed the system. And that's my position. You love it, great. Absolutely great. I did not. I liked multiple transport systems. I liked understanding the population system. Yeah, it's one way that I try not to be old manny, is that my way is the right way and that there's no other way. No, he's begun eating bits of this. That is unfortunate. Are we going to be able to get it without all of Alberta? Yes, as long as I can eat one of Brunswick and Nova Scotia, we should be fine. Oh yeah, J-Dog. They were the Oprah Winfrey of press copies for that game.
I've heard there are jobs here. I want to be a lion tamer.
Oh. Return Utah, Nevada, Mexico, Arizona. What do you mean return? That's a bit... They were never yours up until now. Wow. At least that one's being honest. Conquer Mexican territory.
I've heard there are jobs here. I want to be a lion tamer.
Cake with ketchup and Dusty. Wait, Dusty? I'm surprised you... Well, welcome, Dusty. Maybe you got unfollowed at some stage. When does our modifier go away? 15 months.
I've heard there are
May,
jobs
June,
here.
July, August
I
of
want
the
to be a
next year.
lion tamer.
Cheers. Then they both died. Thank you kindly for the follow, mate. As long as he doesn't literally colonize so much of this that he can get up to and in here, we're pretty safe. New Brunswick or Nova Scotia, which is Alberta? No, it's Nova Scotia in the list. Maybe that's all Nova Scotia. Okay, we'd have to eat 2 then, not 1. Unless we finish colonizing this. So if these guys could actually try to fight us off and let us eat them, that would be helpful. Let me eat you. He's eating them. At the same time that you're going to do the Mexican War. Wow. Or is it that they're rising up against you? No, he's really going for it. Well, as long as he doesn't eat that, and then this and this. He's allowed to eat one, but not the other. Now, why is this all suddenly disappearing?
I've heard there are jobs here.
Cheers,
I want to be a lion tamer.
Government wages. I wouldn't have thought we have that much government wages. It recovers as soon as we pause building, so we might just do a bit of pause building for a bit to earn money so that we don't actually run out of this. I mean, if there was a time to do it, it would be now while he's busy with Mexico. But even then, look at the number of militia he can raise. Great Britain has a decent standing army, but they do not have anywhere near that militia. Could we get people to agree to a more reasonable kind of taxation? Yes, we could. That would mean that I could then turn the construction industry back on. What do you mean goods for military buildings? Oh, when we absorbed this guy, we absorbed his armies, and he has armies somewhere. Absolutely not. This, you. No, thank you. Good. What about navies? Supposedly there's still a barracks somewhere. Where? Here. No. Completely no. There we go. Now we can afford to work again. Get back to building. No slacking. How many more months until we can click the button? May, June, July, August, September. Unifying Bavaria and finding that they had 100 barracks that tanks your economy is yikes. Nothing a quick war to spend those units couldn't solve. Right? Then once that's done, what do? We look at this and we say we still need more glass, but the porcelain is kind of good, so we don't want to build the glass where we've already built glass. We would want to build glass somewhere where we haven't built glass. Where are available people? Available people in Quebec. Is there available infrastructure? Yes, there is. So welcome to like 3 glass works. Indicate that these ones concentrate on basic glass. And then see how that goes. Produce more money, not more prestige. I wanna eat you. Okay, next month, wasn't it? Wait for this to hit like 2. I don't think any is. I don't think any is. Get ready to click this. Good. And we need one more, and we are done. I mean, you say that, but no, Russia. The Cold War has come early. Technically, the US is bigger. I think. 1, 2, 3. 3.6 plus 3 is 6.6. No, they're basically dead even. But then you add in Mexico, and Mexico actually probably has a slight lead. There is a slight lead once you include Mexico's own troops. None of this really matters to us. It's all useless. All that matters is passing 2 more years so that we can click the absorb other guy button again. Or watching to see if Britain clicks the button for us from his side. Or if this guy rebels against our colonizing him and lets us eat him, that would also work. You green sword bourgeoisie. We can probably improve the voting for this by flipping this around a little bit. So it was you, sword, and bourgeoisie. But the bourgeoisie aren't strong enough to exist, and the other 2 of these hate it, so that's a no. Yeah, you look here. They got 3 plus about 3, so they got about 3. They've got about 660. Russia also has about 660, but then Mexico has another 60 of his own. So it looks like it'll go to white peace at the moment. Would be my guess. The conscripts are no meaningful way different to a standing army, except that you have to pay for a standing army when you're at peace. As long as they both have the same production methods selected in here. So if your conscript center has the same settings as your barracks, the units are going to have the same stats. They will be in no meaningful way different. At least not once they're fighting. They take longer to raise. When a war thing starts up, you absolutely have to instantly hit the get my conscripts button, or else they might not all be there by the time of the war. So it becomes a game of knowing just how many conscripts do you need to raise to win the war, or are you willing to pay the cost to run all of them for the duration of the war, because you can't stand them down partway through. Enact one chance, please. So if they're using the same PMs, then there's no difference, and there isn't. As long as they're using the same production methods, the units have the same stats. These production methods are what decides the stats, so 30 offense and 35 defense for skirmish infantry, and it is just the same from a conscription center if they are almost also skirmish infantry. And look, they are. He appears to have a critical shortage of gun and ammo, though. Critical. It's red. He's not going to be able to refund his units. How's Russia doing for them? Let's go have a look. The Russian market is not critically short of gun. Yep, America is critically short of gun and cannon and ammo. Think I earned a barracks again? Possibly. Yes, we did. Thank you. Slight money saving. When are we able to click the button again? Still a fair way away. 24 minus 6-ish, so like January of 9-ish. They're both white peaceable. I think. Yeah, actually Mexico look like they think they're winning, oddly enough. Despite the land that he's losing. You can't join a war midway yet in Neraherb. You can only join a war, or say you're going to join a war when it's starting to break out. There's no joining midway through like in EU4 where you can great power interfere, give someone who's under an attack an alliance, use enforced peace. There is nothing like that in this game. Maybe don't use lead then. It doesn't really make much of a difference. And besides, we don't have a big army. We would only bring another 30 to the fight. He got Texas and a treaty port in Alabama. Nomp. And he gets Mobile? Yeah, he gets Mobile. Mexican Mobile. Okay, is it 1 year now? So like March of next year. You can start a war with a country already in a war, but then there's nothing to stop them piecing out that other war and then turning 100% of their attention to you. There is totally a risk of that happening. Can you tell when we clicked the button to absorb other states? Can you maybe tell where we clicked each of the buttons? Jump, jump, jump. What ownership laws should you be using? You should be using the ownership laws that achieves the goals you want. Do you want to preserve power in the hands of the rich landowners and industrialists? Then you should probably leave your ownership laws on things that keep capitalists as the owners. Do you want the money running for yourself or to help distribute more wealth to the intelligentsia? Then this one. This will empower bureaucrats. Bureaucrats are usually part of the intelligentsia. Do you want it to help empower your workers, as in the machinists and laborers, who are probably, who are almost certainly, I would expect, trade unionists and... I was expecting laborers would be trade unionists rather than rural folk. So you use this to also help control wealth. Which people are getting the money from the overflows of this? Because the more money they have, the wealthier they are. The wealthier they are, the more political power they have. If you come in here and look at the clout versus profession map mode, right? Industrialists are a tiny slice of this pie in terms of profession, but because they are so rich, they are a huge slice of the clout pie. And that has flow-on meanings for things like, if you're trying to pass a law, and it's a law that say we wanted to move to protectionism, which only... Well, actually, lots of people support this, but pretend it was one that only one group supported. You might want to try and manipulate who gets the money paid out of a business to help make that group richer, to make them more politically powerful, so that you can then pass the law you want more easily. Let them fight, I don't care. Once this glassworks is done, what else do we need? Probably still even more glass. There's definitely space for more. Give it to you, says Nemablob. Discord within the Anglican Church. Please help. The church hates us a bit. We also got another... I thought we got a gold mine event, but we must have got the other gold mine event. The one that gives you the automatic gold mines, not the ones that you have to build. Did not succeed. How many more months? September, October, November, December, January, February. February of next year. Click button, form Canada, done. And then we've got to decide what we do. What do we try and do? What do we try and do next? Make Germany great again? I have relatively little interest in playing as Germany, sorry. I'm a little more attracted to doing some of the French ones. There's a couple as France. There's one for becoming the highest GDP and something else. What is it? Am I blind? Highest GDP and the most innovation generation. It's almost time to click this. There is a Korean one. There certainly is a Korean one. I imagine they play like China, where it's misery to try and get reforms done. And they're welcome. They may have been long-time lurkers, and that's all well and good. We love our lurkers here. I thought we had this in like 3 months. Then why can't... Oh my god, it doesn't update if
I've heard there are jobs here.
Anyway, that,
I want to be a lion
click this.
tamer.
Done. We're Canada. Dun, 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 dun. Canada. Matilda Leprechaun. We're ruled by a leprechaun.